And so without further ado, let's go back to the Zoom machine and say hello to Hangman Dan Hooker, who's joining us from Las Vegas. Dan, how are you?
I'm well, sir. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you on again. It's good to talk to you now in the winner's circle, back on the show, but this time from Las Vegas, not your home in New Zealand. By the way, I have to congratulate you off the top. Most importantly, the at-home fade that you pulled off, my friend. I mean, that's a good look. It's coming in nice.
It's not bad.
I was impressed.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad, is it? I had a few people message me saying they don't really believe it. They don't believe it, but I'll be happy to when I get home. If you don't believe me, you come around my house, I'll give you a fade.
How long did it take?
Oh, 5-minute job. 5-minute job.
That I don't believe. 5-minute job?
The mirror like that. The mirror like that.
Well done. That's the part I don't believe, because it takes me an hour just to shave my head all one length here. But well done. I was very impressed. You handled that whole situation so well. It's an amazing thing how, like, this adversity and this drama, I think, has now made you into an even more popular fighter, if that was even possible. And you did it all with a smile, and you had all the right answers. But now that it's over, Dan, could you tell, like, how stressful was the past week for you? I mean, like, because again, I'm talking to you and I feel like I'm more stressed about what I'm going to have for dinner than you are about how you're going to get over from New Zealand to America. But now that it's all done and it all went well and you won, can you put into words how stressful that past week was for you?
It's like a different mix of stress though, right? Because the whole training camp is like you're dealing with the physical stress of all the training, like 2-3 hard trainings a day. So you're dealing with the physical stress of that mixed in with the stress of maybe this fight isn't going to work. But I don't know, the last week, you're not dealing with that physical stress anymore. So you just had kind of just like a mental stress. And I just don't let things mentally stress me out that much. Like as long as I do everything that's in my power, anything that I can control, then there's not more you can do. And there's no point stressing about it.
What was Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday before you're leaving? You're seeing, 266 kind of develop. Like, all the fighters are in town now and the media stuff, and you're kind of on the outside looking in. I would imagine that's sort of surreal, right? Like, it's all happening, the fight week stuff. You're a part of it, but you're not actually a part of it. What was those last few days like at home?
Yeah, surreal is the word. Like, it was pretty crazy. I was sitting down on my couch at home, watching like the third and fourth embeddeds, and it's like getting closer and closer, and it's got all the fighters like preparing to do their fight. Like, I'm preparing to do my final weight cut, and then I'm still sitting at home on my couch, and I was just like, yeah, this is getting pretty surreal.
And then you find out about Nasrat's issues. Did you have any idea before he made them public that he was going through a similar thing?
Like, he'd mentioned it. And like he was asking about my visa issues. He's like, you going to get a visa? Is everything sorted with you? And I was like, man, doing everything I can. And he mentioned it to me. He was like, yeah, I've got the same problem. And I was dealing with mine at that point. And I was just like, well, I got my own problems, but like, I don't even want to open that kettle of fish. But yeah, so when it did come out, I already had a heads up that he was having an issue. But at that point, like, that is out of my control. Like, I can, I didn't think I would be able to get my own one done like that. That one I could control. His visa, ain't nothing I can do about the embassy in Frankfurt.
And so were you told by the UFC this will not all be for naught? Like, you will get here and you will fight someone. It may not be him, but we have someone on standby?
Nah, I didn't even talk to
Really?
So the last person I talked to was like Sean, like a week before that, when he was just like, Dan, like, we're not going to be able to get you until Thursday. How about we push the fight? And I was like, well, I pushed the fight and I'm locked out of my country. So I can't push the fight. And he said, well, that means you're landing Thursday and have to weigh in the next day. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, that's not a problem. Let's do the fight. Like, I've got no problem. So that's the last I heard of him. So I don't know. I was too hesitant, too scared to ask because I didn't want a bad answer. So I was just staying positive and not asking too many questions because maybe I didn't want to know the answer.
Okay. So you go on the flight, You get to LA, right? And then you cross over. What time did you land on Thursday?
About 7:30 p.m. in Las Vegas.
And you made the weight. So in the end, you had a little over 12 hours. Again, you were as cool as can be talking about it, but the actual process, how difficult was it? The checking in, the cutting weight. Did you even go to sleep on Thursday night?
Oh, a couple hours. So yeah, we landed, obviously muck around there for a bit. By the time we got to the hotel in Las Vegas, we had to do a rapid test before we were allowed out of our room. So quickly did a COVID test, stayed in our room till we got the results from that. And then me and Eugene went to the PI where Volk and that were already training at the PI. Me and Huge did a little pad session at the PI, did a little bit of grappling with Frankie, sat in the sauna for a bit, got back to the hotel, checked my weight. I was on weight. So then all I had to do was sleep. And then I just slept, waited around, waited. I could have waited in that night. So it's that's not an issue for me. Like I stay in shooting distance year round. So it's never going to be a problem. Like I've been through it as a fighter, like these big cuts, and it's just not worth it in the long run. You just end up damaging your body and impacting your career. So I just stay in shooting distance year round. So it's just not a problem to me. So if something like this ever happened, it's not an issue to me. It's not an issue.
It's just amazing that both of you had to go through this, and then you were both there early, and you both made the weight. And then I was wondering what your body or how your body would feel, and what like the body clock is all messed up. So come Saturday, did you feel, you didn't look off? Like I said, if no one knew about your issues, no one would have batted an eye. But the actual body in the locker room, in the cage, did you feel a little bit off? Did you feel like this wasn't a normal thing for you?
Like you start really getting jet lagged when you try to adjust. Like that's where you get like the jet lag bit when you try to adjust to the time. If I had a week, if I had 10 days, 7 days, then I would just adjust. I would just battle the jet lag those first couple of days, and then by day 3, day 4, I would have adjusted and I'll be back to normal kind of thing. What I did was just not even attempt to adjust, like just sleep when I slept. So my sleep was all over the place. Like I was waking up, I'll be awake at like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, but then sleep a bit during the day. And so I would just sleep when I'm tired. All I did was just didn't adjust. So then the jet lag doesn't hit you as much. But once you start going through that process, like you're arriving at the venue, you start warming up, you hear the crowd, there's no way you're still going to be asleep. There's no way you're still going to be sitting out back like, oh, you know what? No, I want to go back to bed. Like you're about to go out in front of a sold out audience. Like nothing, if that doesn't get you out of bed, nothing will.
How do you feel about your performance? You're probably your toughest critic. Were you happy with it?
I felt it was good. I felt it was a good performance. I felt it was a solid performance. I felt like I had, I'd found an advantage in the wrestling once I grabbed a hold of him, and I just went to that well. It's like people saying, well, you were winning the striking. Why didn't you just stay striking? It's like you can just save that for when you need it, right? Like if he was able to get back to his feet and scramble to his feet and make me strike, well, then I can make myself strike. Like striking, your leg, your shins get bashed up, your face gets bashed up, you bust your hands. Like it's grappling's like definitely the safer route to victory. So I just did that, and it's the experience from those 2 losses, just to be a good decision maker, to be it gave me a lot of mental maturity, that fight, those 2 fights. There was like a lot of mental growth there, a lot of mental maturity, which I can now do in the future. That's why I was so excited to get in there and fight and show the improvements that I've made, not only in my physical attributes, but also like just the way I mentally approach the game.
Perhaps 3-4 years ago, you're not going to the wrestling at that point in the fight, right?
Nah, definitely not. Like you're too proud. You're a 25, 26-year-old kid. Like you're too proud. You just want to get out there and prove that you're the best striker. Prove that you're. goal was to just prove I was the toughest guy. I just wanted to prove I was the toughest guy in the world. And I feel like I did that. And I feel like I got nothing for it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you get nothing for it, but cuts and scars. There's no point in doing that. Yeah, like, are we going to have crazy, exciting fights in the future? 100%. But it's like the other guy has to make me fight like that. The other guy has to be of the same level that he brings that out of me. That's it. If I can go out there and just outclass the best fighters in the world, then why not do that?
So you say that those losses made you, more mature and all that stuff. Just the confidence of getting your hand raised and feeling what it feels like to win a fight. What does that feel like now? The Monday after a fight, after the losses, I'm sure weren't great. Again, you always handle it very well, but just to be back in the winner's circle, to be back feeling like, all right, things are back on track. What is that like?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good to get like that win back, be back in the winners column. For all the people that support me as well, like it's tough for them too, to see you go through, tough fights and losses like that, and they're being dragged out for so long. It's been 9 months sitting in that, or longer. It's probably been closer to a year. So, yeah, it's good for all the people supporting me as well. I definitely knew that it was always going to happen. I've always had that confidence in my ability, and I knew that it would come back on track eventually. So it's good to finally be here.
Do you agree with the assessment that all the drama of the past week, and in particular how you handled it, made you into a bigger star now? Like the pop that you got, the crowd reaction to you, it feels like people are even bigger fans of Dan Hooker now because of everything you went through.
I don't know. It's hard.
You didn't feel a difference? You didn't feel a difference?
I feel like they always scream. I feel like the fans are always happy to see me. It's been a long career inside the UFC with some pretty crazy moments, some pretty crazy knockouts, some pretty crazy fights, a lot of fight of the night. So it's like warranted. It's good to feel that appreciation. That appreciation for your body of work inside of the UFC.
Afterwards, you said Dariush next. Why him?
Well, if you're looking at it, like Tony Ferguson and Beneil were the only two guys without fights in that top 15 in that ranking, and they just fought, so they can't fight again. So Dariush is sitting there without anyone to fight. So isn't it a good idea to ask for the highest ranked guy there is that doesn't have a fight?
It makes sense. Did they, to the best of your knowledge, because I saw you tweet about this, and then he responded, Arman, did they call him to be on standby? Did you hear that there were any talks of that?
Nah, I just wanted to kick his bucket, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Give his bucket a boot. See, what are you doing, bud?
And he said that he was banged up or something like that, right? What did you make of that response?
Yeah. Bit of a preloaded excuse.
Okay.
I just saw he had no suspension or no stand down after the fight. So then I was just like, he's got no stand down. He's still stateside. He can throw him in. He wants to fight me. He said, if anyone gets hurt, and he said it in his post-fight interview, he's like, hey, if that fight falls through, I'll put my hand up. I said, well, put your hand up then. Yeah. And then he takes his hand down. So he's just contradicted himself.
Where did you watch the main event?
Out back in the locker room.
What can you say? I mean, like what I was going on about the third round and the fight itself. And I'm in awe of Alex. I'm in awe of what he was able to do. I think 99.9% of the human beings on this planet tap in that moment, want to get out of that thing. The fact that he was able to figure out a way to get out of it, not once, but then the triangle after. I mean, just like, I have so much respect for that man. And that fight is one of the greatest examples of heart and will and determination that I've ever seen in any type of athletic endeavor. To see your friend and teammate in that and overcome that. The world is freaking out, but you have a connection to him. What was that like watching it with whomever back there?
Yeah, the third round was pretty crazy. So he was out back and he ran through all of those submissions with Craig Jones. Craig Jones was running. We ran through the guillotine, ran through guillotine defense at like the various stages if it's just when he attempts it, when it gets this deep, when it's deep, the triangles, like all of those submission attempts they ran through. So I was pretty confident. That mounted guillotine looked tight. But Alex is a hard guy to put away. He soldiered on and then almost got him out of there in the third round. So yeah, that's one of the craziest rounds I've ever seen. That third round, that was incredible.
Awesome to see you guys celebrated at the Raiders game. I mean, you kind of have to look for you in the back there. They're like there, there's a thing for Alex, but you're there. Eugene's there. I see Ash back there. I see the whole crew there. What was that like to get that kind of? You guys were really down. I think you were like just a couple of rows back, right?
Yeah, I think they call it the field boxes or something. I've never even been to an NFL game, so that's the first NFL game I've ever been to. So to walk in and you're in like the box up the front, down on a field, it was crazy, man. To think that they might have a fight event in that stadium one time, like that whole stadium was just going absolutely ballistic. So that was cool. It's been a surreal experience, this whole thing, like flying in last minute, doing the fight, getting that done, going to the game yesterday. The whole thing's been surreal from, just being in my garage for the last month, just like with my hanging out with my family. Like it's been crazy to just go from complete isolation to just everything's open over here. And it's just it's just crazy.
Is it a bit of a, like, I remember when we were somewhat locked down and then you kind of go back into the world and there's like a little bit of a, not a culture shock, but it's strange, right? You're all alone and then all of a sudden you're around people. Like the first time I went on a flight back in February, I was like, this is weird to be around people again. Has it felt like that for you? I mean, you went into a stadium with 70,000 people or whatever it was on Sunday. That must feel very, very strange to your system, no?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, like you get so used to only interacting with like a handful of people and seeing the same walls. So yeah, to come over here and just the airport, the people, going to a sold out arena in Vegas, fighting, walking out with the fans, you're touching thousands of fans. Then going to the Raiders game, same thing, like sold out, packed house, 70,000. Crazy.
And, obviously you come from a country where I would imagine rugby, I know it's huge in Australia, but rugby popular in New Zealand as well? Yeah, right? Yeah,
rugby's the biggest sport in New Zealand.
Like, look at you trying not to make me sound like an idiot. Like, yeah, you dumb American/Canadian. It's the biggest. Who the All Blacks? What do they play?
The All Blacks.
That's rugby.
Yeah. They play Eden Park.
Okay.
New Zealand's we've only got one stadium in New Zealand with a roof. So there's only like one place. It's in Dunedin. There's only one place that you could have a stadium show in New Zealand, because the rest of them are just like outdoor sporting events. Like Eden Park is like I think that's our biggest one, but yeah, it doesn't have a roof, so you couldn't have a fight show on it.
My question was, what did you like better, NFL or rugby?
Oh, you throw me under the bus there. I gotta say rugby, or they'll never let me back.
Okay, fair enough. And then, we have to discuss somewhat the elephant in the room. On Thursday, Izzy put out this video, which I thought was awesome, to see the camaraderie and the loyalty towards you and everyone else, like basically saying, I'm not fighting in New Zealand anymore, and in fact, we're thinking of leaving because of what you put us through. Do you share that sentiment? Would you be? Yeah, I know you have a young family. It's not that easy for a whole team to just pick up and leave. All you guys have your own situations to just go to the United States. How do you feel about the future now in New Zealand for you?
I feel like we would have to keep our sport moving in New Zealand, to keep MMA and MMA in New Zealand moving, to keep the wheels moving. If we just stay in New Zealand, they're not allowing us to train. So what happens if Israel, whatever fight he's got next, he starts his training camp, New Zealand goes into a lockdown? Like, we just can't train? Like, you're not giving any kind of exemption to like the MMA people. You're not letting us back into the country. Like, you're making it impossible for us to train. You're making it impossible for us to compete. So we've got no option but to make a shift, continue to make sure that we keep the balls rolling for MMA in New Zealand.
How close to this being a reality are we right now? Like, is this going to happen in 2022? You guys are all going to move over?
I'm prepared to. I would take the family with me. It's not my call. I'm not. It's up to Huge. It's up to the coaches. They're the ones that'll kind of make sure everything's sorted out. I'm just another body on the mat at City Kickboxing. I'm just one of the boys on the team that does the training. I don't make those kind of decisions.
To the best of your knowledge, though, since this came out, when it comes out from Izzy, people listen, I would imagine. Is there anyone in the government who are like, well, we can't lose these guys. These guys represent our country on a world stage and in a very positive way. We need to figure this out. We need to figure out some exemption situation, something to let them stay here and keep representing us. It would be horrible PR, I would think, if all you guys picked up and leave, and you leave to go to the U.S. Do you know if any? I know you've been busy with your own fight, of course, but do you know if there were any, repercussions, ramifications from what he said?
You would think that. I don't know. The media in New Zealand, like the way that they kind of portrayed what Israel said and how they portrayed us saying that we're going to make the shift. We're forced to make the shift over New Zealand. They, like I would say, a majority of the media that did stories about it in New Zealand painted it in a negative light. They painted it in like we're leaving because we don't like New Zealand, or we're looking for special treatment. Like we're complaining and we want special treatment because we're sports stars and things like this. So they're not heeding the call. I think like they're just portraying him in a negative light, like saying that he's asking for too much or asking for special treatment. How can asking to go to work be asking for special treatment? Like it's the craziest thing for me. Like that guy has done more for New Zealand than any one of those people having a go at him. You know what I mean? Like that guy has put New Zealand in the absolute spotlight. Israel has made the world sit and watch New Zealand combat sports, and for that they say he's just this and that, and he's saying that he doesn't like New Zealand. It's just the worst.
What's up with these guys in the media over there in New Zealand? Why are they so negative towards you guys? Is it just a bunch of old, crusty guys who don't get what MMA is and they think you're a bunch of barbarians? What is happening over there?
Nah, there are some very cool people. There are some very cool people in the media that follow the sport. It's I don't know. It's just I don't know. There's a couple people in there that just kind of got it in for us, I think.
That is, I mean, it's unfortunate. Everyone's going through something, but to make it so difficult on you guys, and my understanding is the rugby guys get exemptions and you guys don't. That seems to be an unfair situation. So if you were to predict, do you think next year you guys are relocating?
Yeah, I just like things are moving pretty slow in New Zealand with all the lockdowns. Like my gym's still shut back home in New Zealand. All of our gyms are still shut. Like City Kickboxing still closed. My gym's still closed, and we're like still in lockdown in New Zealand. So I'll get back to New Zealand, do my 2 weeks quarantine, and then I'll still be in lockdown. So the wheels are moving like real slow, and I feel like things like need to pick up. Like things need to open back up. Things need to get moving. Like they can't just stop everyone from going for work. Like being out here in the world, like things have got back to normal. I feel like especially here in Vegas, like they're on the other side of it. Like everything's pretty much back to normal.
Mental health wise, how, like you haven't 2 weeks in the hotel again? You're going back to that same hotel, or is it one of them? They send you to a random one, right? But you can't.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You get off the plane, you like walk through the airport, get your bags and everything, get to like the end of it, and there's like a guy sitting at a table, and he just tells you where you're going. You're just like, oh, you're going to this hotel, you're going to that. So you could go anywhere. They like Eugene's had it happen to him 2 or 3 times where he's got to that guy and like had to fly to the South Island. So another. Yeah, they put him in a different city. Like he had to go to a different city and do his quarantine. So it's like, you don't know till you get to the guy at the table, like where you're going and where you'll be. But yeah, some are better than others. Like some only have like a little courtyard for exercise. You get like half an hour a day. Like it's brutal. It's brutal. And you can say you're like complaining about it and stuff like that, but it's brutal. It's brutal. Like sitting in a hotel, not being able to leave, like it sucks.
Is there a part of you're going to be in Vegas now for a week, right? Because your flight's on Saturday back home.
Yep.
I believe you told me that. Like, so your family, they're locked down. Do you feel guilty being able to go out and about now this week in Vegas while they're,
Kind of, like it's making me feel a little bit guilty. Like I'm out at the Raiders, like having fun.
Yeah.
With all these people, having like the best time. And then, my wife's sitting at home, my kids sitting at home, like can't even go down to the local park and play on the playground. Like can't even go on the slide.
Wow.
Like you're not allowed to play on the playground.
Man,
So it's like, it makes, I'm not doing nothing wrong, but I feel awfully guilty about it. It sucks.
And you can't go through another training camp like this, right? 4 weeks and, at home and all that.
Nah. You're disrespecting your sport. You're disrespecting your opponents. Like this was just forced. There was nothing I could do about it. Now it's like it was out of the blue. Next time it would have to be anticipated. You have to anticipate that this is a possibility, that they won't let us train. It needs to be anticipated, and we need to make an adjustment before I fight again. Like that was too hard. That was too hard, too risky.
Realistically, when do you want to fight again?
I haven't really thought about it. We've just been going through all of this and then celebrating. I would like to fight. I'm healthy. As soon as I can get back to training, as soon as they open my gym and let me train.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be, I know we were just talking about feeling guilty. I have a very, very guilty conscience, but like, how rare is it to be in Vegas a week and have nothing to do, right? You're not preparing. The fight's over, so you can bask in the glow of the fight. Probably way better than being in Abu Dhabi for a month after a loss, right? You're going to have a blast this week, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll see. A couple of the lads are here. A couple of the guys are here. Eugene's here till Tuesday, so it'll be cool. We have a couple of team dinners. The champ's here till Wednesday, so just hanging out with him, and it's cool, man. It's cool. Probably catch some more sport. See what happens.
Well, enjoy it, my friend. You handled the whole thing. Both of you guys, both you and Nasrat really handled it well. It's one of those things where you're reminded how special the people are in this sport. I don't know if a lot of people can handle it that well, like you guys did. So I tip my proverbial cap to you. Congratulations. You look great. You looked amazing. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do next. And I look forward to, hopefully, this situation resolving itself. I'm getting it. You know what? I was a little bit off there at the end because someone just texted me. And so I'll ask the question that someone just texted me. What about you and Nathan? Can we run that back? Can we get going on that one again? What do you think?
What's that?
Nathan. Oh, I call him Nathan. We're friends. Nathan Diaz. Nate.
Oh, Nate Diaz. Would I fight him?
Yeah.
I'll fight him.
Yeah, of course you'll fight him. Any likes behind that?
That's on him. What? That's on him. I don't know. I'm not going to go chasing him around. Like whenever he wants to fight, like he's only got to say my name. Like it's definitely not a difficult fight for him to get.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan. Congratulations. All the best. And thanks for jumping on this morning. I appreciate it.
No trouble. Thank you.
All right. There he is. Hangman Dan Hooker. What a performance. What a win. What a story.